Yes, y'all know what it is. It's Taco Tuesday, and the taco, crew is back together, man. Hey, here on Tuesday, first Taco Tuesday, we done of the new year 2026. It's all gravy. Hey, man, a lot to talk about. We're going to be very NFL heavy. It has some news drop of a very well decorated coach is unemployed. Hey, so we'll talk about it all from Mike Tomlin to Dante Moore, Fernando Mendoza, a recap of the wild card round. We'll get Randy's takes on that, and definitely, hey, we got to preview the divisional round. So, with all that being said, let's get Taco Tuesday going. It's episode 498, I.O.W Sports Show, late night hour edition. Let's go.
Yeah, Solid Hill TD, yes, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Lizaga. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Lizaga. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. Hey. L Boogie with the hot flame, ashtray full of top names, little tree for your membrane. This the 9-hour time frame. I just snatched up a 6-pack, got my hands on a lid pack, whipping up a little batch of snacks. Yeah, man, I think I'm all set. Late night, can't sleep, go ahead and just tap in. Better grab you a cold one, and we about to get some laps in. Wild card on the microphone, he'll hit you with a couple flurries. Y'all need to just strap in for some entertainment sports commentary. About to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Lizaga. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what it is. It's your man Wildcard Mar back in the building. We got my bro Randy Weber in the building. Hey, what's the name say today? Saquon crying. What's my superpower?
I'm full of so much hate.
Man.
It is deep in my heart.
I see, bro. I see, bro. Hey, but you know what? I respect it because no matter, the time of the year, calendar of the year, off season, on season, we keep the same energy. So I respect it. I respect it. All right. Rivalries never die. They're not supposed to. All right.
Facts.
Supposed to. And you're supposed to hang on to them 24/7, 365. I could be at a funeral and I will talk shit to a Raiders fan. All right.
That's facts. Especially if it's one of their loved ones that's in there.
Man, I like that son bitch, but I can't stand the fact that the motherfucker was a Raiders fan. Hey, I'm just life or death. I will talk shit about you if you are a fan of my rival. All right. So anyway, hey, good to see you, bro. How are things, man?
Things are doing well. I mean, especially after Sunday, hell of a good football week with one result that I was especially thrilled about, but just great games in general.
I kind of did my review of Wild Card Weekend. It's kicked off Saturday, went into Sunday. Last game was Monday. I know a lot of people think that I saw Tony Dungy. He's not a fan of the Wild Card Weekend scheduling. I'm okay with it. It gives me a full weekend of football, so I don't give a damn.
Yeah, exactly. I like they're not all bunched together the way that like in the regular season. Like it's like, well, like how am I'm not watching all these, right? Like
they're not overlapping. They get their solo time frame to themselves. But hey, man, go ahead and if you want to break down all 6 games, a specific game you want to break down. Just kind of give me your overall thoughts on a Wild Card Weekend, man. Go ahead.
Okay, so I guess we can talk about each game in order, and we can start with Rams versus the Panthers. I'm definitely not alone in this. Even though the Panthers beat the Rams in the regular season,
They did.
I don't think many people thought the Panthers were going to win again. And I was surprised that it was as close as it was. The little shaky performance by the Rams, they came away with it.
Agreed.
So I don't think my prediction that they're the one team that's going to win the Super Bowl, I don't think is in jeopardy because of this, because I don't really think that any of the teams are like clearly perfect and dominant and don't have any holes. I didn't see that from any team, even the winning teams. So I'm not necessarily worried about that take off of that game. But the Panthers putting you in a corner like that it's a little concerning. It may just be more of a bad matchup situation for the Rams for some reason, like why the Panthers specifically give them so many problems. But they came away with it, and ultimately that's what matters. To the next one, my favorite game of the weekend was Bears versus Packers. Ben Johnson led teams are just especially fun to watch. And the wild game. So I was unfortunately not able to access my DraftKings because when I saw that the Packers were up that much over the Bears, my immediate thought was I got to put some money on the Bears for this. I knew they were going to come back. They did it twice against the Packers already this season, and then they did it again, and in an absolutely insane performance from Caleb in the fourth quarter. That diving throw to get that first down when the dude had his legs wrapped up, that was a thing of beauty. That was crazy.
It was a fourth down play, and I said it last night. I'm like, there's only a handful of players in the NFL that can make that throw.
Yep.
And we're talking about elite quarterbacks.
Yes.
We're talking about Mahomes, Josh Allen. I'm struggling to even get past those two names that make that throw, and Caleb Williams just made that.
Yeah, exactly. Like if Caleb can just be more accurate on to the point where he doesn't need to do all that stuff at the end every time, he could be a top 5 quarterback. He has the talent to do it. He can make the throws to do it. He has the late game grit. He has the superhero mode that the best quarterbacks do. It's just him putting himself in a position where he doesn't have to do it all the time. And I think because I think it's often a mental thing with quarterbacks where they're good when there's no pressure, or they're bad when there's no pressure, or vice versa. Caleb is one of those guys, I think, that responds very well to pressure.
Yes.
And that just clicks something for him. But if he can just maintain that for a full game consistently,
yes,
he's a top 5 quarterback easily. Yeah, and I mean he looked phenomenal in this game. The offensive line did a great job. Receivers did a great job. I actually don't even think the Packers did choke the lead away, they need to own that.
They have to.
Obviously, right? They got to own that. Jordan Love from beginning to end. Now that we've seen this full season, I would say that this is probably the best season we've seen from Jordan Love front to back. He's had his shaky performances.
He has.
But even in this game, I wouldn't blame him as the reason they lost. He even got a touchdown at the end to try to increase the lead before Caleb came back again.
It's funny you say that. So here's a couple of things that I took away from this game, especially with the Packers. Jordan Love had a hell of a game, no doubt about it. They definitely choked that game away. I would never disagree with you on that sentiment. We're not surprised they lost. Because I just think the moment that Michael Parsons went down with that injury, that was pretty much the end of their season.
Yeah.
I said it last night, and then I just got to make it known that that's how I really feel. Like the moment he got hurt, that was it. The defense just didn't play to the same level as it did when he was in there. It turned, I think ironically, it kind of forced Jordan Love that, hey, I gotta step my game up because I see my defense is not at full strength. And, he had his ups and downs towards the stretch of the back of the second half, especially after the injury. But and he missed some games too because of the injury. But that performance, like you said, I can't fault that guy. If you were just didn't even watch the game, but you pull up your ESPN app and you see that Jordan Love had no turnovers and 4 touchdowns. You're like, oh, Packers won that game easily. But then that's when the Micah Parsons factor comes in. That defense is not the same. They couldn't stop a nosebleed. They left the door open, and you know me, I've been a very strict critic of Caleb Williams. He shut me up this weekend. If you want to nitpick his game, cool, fine. But the meat and potatoes of his performance was primo shit. All right, it was top tier. Just facts. I mean, that's if you saw what you saw. The meat and potatoes of his performance was absolutely, yeah.
It's ridiculous. The talent is ridiculous, and the way that he used it when it mattered was ridiculous.
You also bring up, and other intelligent people that I've talked and had this conversation with, the Ben Johnson factor. I mean, if you dismiss that, that's crazy. And I think and obviously Caleb Williams has to do the work. But what I'm saying is obviously you can tell night and day of being coached under Matt Eberflus and being coached under Ben Johnson. All right,
for sure.
So that's obvious too. Obviously Ben Johnson's name is going to be for Coach of the Year, deservedly so. I would throw Liam Cohen in there, and I got to throw Kyle Shanahan. Obviously, we'll have that conversation later. But Ben Johnson, we've talked to Uber's amounts of how important coaching is to specifically quarterbacks, and Ben Johnson has literally changed my whole thought process about Caleb Williams because I always thought he was talented. I just didn't know if he had the right coaching to teach him to make sure to see the right reads, take the right reads, take what the defense gives you, and don't get greedy. Because I always thought that was kind of one of his problems coming into the league. But yeah, Ben Johnson, I'm not ready to go all in. But I will say that after what I've seen from the regular season and this his performance in his playoff debut, okay.
And I do have to address something from my preseason predictions. I rode hard for the Bears.
Did. No, you did. You did.
I did. I saw the vision of that 5-win team.
And I laughed at you. I know. Yes. I remember.
Caleb Williams did not look good last year. Ben Johnson is a first-time head coach. The team, there was a lot of reasons to think this team would not end up being good. But I saw the vision that the Bears were going to be good. I saw the vision that they were going to be in this position in the playoffs.
You did.
But it was supposed to be against the Eagles. And I said that the Bears were going to beat the Eagles. And you know what? I was too generous to the Eagles in that prediction.
They didn't win shit. But look, I will say this, because I still got that picture in the messages. So if anybody wants receipts, Randy's not bullshit. He did have the Bears really going somewhere. And I laughed at him because I could probably go back to that episode where I'm like, yeah, bro, you're crazy. But just been like, and shout out to my man Chris Style on Airhead T podcast that we do Tuesdays. He brought up an interesting point that I didn't think about. The moment that Ben Johnson took that job in Chicago, he changed 2 teams' culture. You saw how Detroit offense kind of looked this year, and then you actually see the progression the Bears offense and Caleb Williams specifically,
Mhm.
just by one higher and in the same division. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, I definitely thought that was
And
uh
he made all the right moves. He made the same right moves that he did in Detroit to help Jared Goff. He built the offensive line,
mhm,
started from there and worked back.
yeah.
People thought that DeAndre Swift was the problem. People thought that Caleb was the problem. I was like, no, the offensive line is the problem. He fixed the offensive line, one of the best units in the NFL. Now they have 3 Pro Bowl to All Pro caliber players on that offensive line. And now the running game and Caleb both look significantly better. The scheming is much better. And this team is really dangerous. They're going against the 49ers now, right? Because they beat the Eagles. Because if so, they might be the favorite in that game. They might be the team I'd pick to win that game.
No, Bears got Rams, Seahawks get 49ers, and
Mm,
those are your NFC matchups.
okay. All right, that's
Yeah.
a tougher matchup. That's a tougher matchup, but it's gonna be a hell of a game.
Oh yeah. We'll definitely get into that in just a second. Divisional matchup. Give me your take on Sunday's action as Bills and Jaguars open up Sunday action.
So Bills and Jaguars, I think that um the Bills did what they were supposed to do. I think that Josh Allen had a really good game. The Trevor Lawrence is still not there.
Mm,
He has clearly improved over from where he was. He had the absolutely dog shit first year. Then he had the dog shit first half of the second year. Then he had that really good run in the second year. And then he reverted back to being what looked like it was going to be a bust. This year has been potentially his redemption, but he's clearly not there yet. Through the game losing pick at the end. Um they have a good enough roster, I think, especially with the defense having been revamped, that if Trevor Lawrence was playing like his billing, like not the idea that he was is gonna be the next Peyton Manning, that's probably done now. Like that's that what he was billed as in the draft, that's done now. But if he could just be like a top 10-ish quarterback consistently, top 12-ish even with that team, they could be a serious threat in the AFC South, what is generally a weak division outside of the Texans. So they, but Trevor Lawrence has to be better. Like, he just has to be better. His decision making is shaky from game to game, and that is a big problem. And I mean, you could argue very easily that he lost them this game. And they got to be better. Liam Cohen has gotten a lot out of him, but we thought that about Doug Peterson too. So we'll see.
Yeah, man. I think the Jaguars shitted this game away. I think they had the Bills right where they want them, and they folded. I just think they, there were some throws that Trevor could have been better at for sure. Take away, take care of the ball a little bit better, because that was what made him this year, like you said, his best NFL season. He was taking care of the football, and it was weird that he picked the wild card round to revert back to old Trevor, where he wasn't decisive, pretty much leading defenders to his throwing lanes, struggled, overthrow, underthrows. It just wasn't his greatest game. He was up and down. He had good moments. He had bad moments. He had a mixed bag of Trevor Lawrence for sure. So that was disappointing because that crowd was rocking. I could hear it through the speakers because I was listening to it, watching the game in the car, and I could just hear it in the speakers. And I'm like, man, this crowd is rocking. Uh, and yeah, man. I just got to give Josh Allen credit where credit was due. The man had a Herculean performance. The man was getting the dog shit beat out of him. So shout out to them. The 4 o'clock game. I know you were excited about the result in this one. San Francisco 49ers pulled the lone upset of the weekend, and they take down the 3 seed Philadelphia Eagles as the 6 seed San Francisco 49ers, beat up as hell. Probably got the most injuries down there. Every team in the NFL. Well, that's
certainly the most consequential injuries.
Yes, and it's a yearly thing, and then they lose George Kittle in the middle of the damn game in the first quarter. Man, speak on that crazy upset. I know you were like, is you kind of saw it coming, but it wasn't until you saw it that you're like, all right, here it is.
Yeah, no, but it looked like in the end, like the Eagles might come back, and then Hurts threw some bad passes, and it was over. And look, it was a Patullo masterclass as they've had, and I am very sad to see him leave. I'm shocked that he's just now leaving. Like the way that Philly has reacted to him, how bad he obviously was. The fact that they're waiting until now that the season's over to get rid of him, that's kind of mind-boggling. I know that Patullo is Sirianni's guy, but if anything, that's just a reflection of the questionable Sirianni judgment that he held on to him that long. Yeah, I mean, the 49ers managed to do it anyway. They managed to capitalize on it. They had the better offense despite losing their best receiver on the offense, like part of the way through the game. Purdy looked good. And yeah, I mean, the 49ers deserved to win this game. It's still hard to believe. It doesn't feel sustainable, but it does seem to be. And that's why Shanahan is my coach of the year. The fact that he has basically because he's there as the nucleus, the winning with this roster is sustainable. And also, Brock Purdy definitely deserves a lot of credit, because we've talked about how in the past, when some of his stars have gone down, Purdy has shriveled up and forgotten how to play football.
Yeah.
Not this year. With just CMC, Trent Williams missing a couple of games, but mostly being there, not being that level of Trent Williams, still being good. Kittle being out, I.O.W being out, having Jawan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall as your best receivers, which aren't bad receivers, but they're not stars.
Yeah.
You know, like Brock
in and out of the lineup too.
Yeah, exactly. No, like Brock Purdy has absolutely come to play, and he has done so without a loaded roster around him. And Shanahan deserves a lot of credit for that, but Purdy does too. I think he showed he's not just a product of talent around him, at least not anymore.
No, fair. I mean, we talked at good amounts of Brock Purdy's and his importance of where he stands on that roster. And yeah, this year he kind of flipped the script on a lot of people like me, in particular, saying like, hey, I'm not just a pedestrian. I can drive the bus too. So
as opposed to his opponent, who proved probably that he is in fact just a product of the talent around him, because he had a ton of talent around him. They shit the bed. The scheming didn't help. If he doesn't have a 2,000-yard rusher and AJ Brown, who I want to add to, because he deserves a lot of heat. If AJ Brown's dropping the ball, that Jalen Hurts doesn't have much. But speaking of AJ Brown, you all season were begging to be thrown the ball. You were tweeting, you were bitching and crying and whining, like, why aren't they throwing the ball? Even when they were winning. And then they started throwing the ball to him more, and then they started losing more, which I don't understand why the coach cares what AJ Brown has to say. Like, if you're winning, then tell him to shut the fuck up. But they conceded to him, and they ended up becoming worse. And then in this game, they throw AJ Brown the ball, and he drops the ball, and it's like you can't do that. Like, you put so much attention on yourself by all of your bitching. You made such a thing of getting the ball that I need to have the ball. This is the way that I win. That if when that happens, the team gets worse, and then in the biggest moment for you to catch the ball, you drop it. I normally don't think that. My response normally when like a player is like a bad attitude locker room problem, if they're a good player, I'm normally the person to shut down the you need to trade him talks. If anybody is a player of that caliber who their team should trade, it might be AJ Brown. Because the team doesn't seem to be better when utilizing him the most. They still have Devonta Smith, they still have Dallas Goedert, so it's not like they're devoid of pass catchers. He has trade value. It might make sense. It might make sense. I think I would do that if it was me. I think I would try to trade AJ Brown. I don't think that you need him as much, like, as great of a player as he is. I don't think that you're necessarily better with him. You're a run first offense anyway when you're at your best. I think they got to figure out what they're going to do with him.
I think they definitely figured out. Eagles. Definitely talking Eagles. I definitely feel they probably got to move on. There's no way. And I'm not saying that AJ Brown is a locker room cancer or anything. I just don't think he's gelling with this team. And just him and the quarterback just seem off. And it's funny that you say that they were having this conversation, because I want to play something real quick. And I don't know if you heard it. I've heard about it, and I just want to add this piece to the conversation. Shady McCoy on his podcast, Speakeasy.
Already had our weapons. I think we win this game at least by 10 points.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest. Oh, man. I got a lot of blame for all the offense, right? I'm going to start with A.J. Brown. He had a lot of drops today. I mean, he never drops the ball, right? I think some of that is he didn't get a chance to really get in the groove. You know, we had James Jones on air, and he was saying how a wide receiver don't really start until he gets the ball. And we only got A.J. the ball maybe like, I think his first catch was second quarter or something like that. And his next one was in like the fourth quarter. So it's hard to get in the groove, but he dropped some balls. Smitty, a couple passes he probably could have got. And then Jalen Hurts, I don't know how to be honest, man. Like, Jalen Hurts, I need you to be special. Make plays. You know, and then like, I did a lot of digging, man. And I won't throw them under the bus here, but I know some people, right? And the problem is we can't do different exotic looks, different formations, different motions, because I'm hearing that he can't really do it. So when we get to a game like this where we gotta have it, like we playing against the Niners, they're like they second unit. You know, I'm not disrespecting them because they played really, really well, but everything that we needed the Niners to do, they did. Brock Purdy played solid. He didn't play great. He gave us 2 turnovers, 2 bad ones. We got field position from bad, punts, different punts because of the wind. And we didn't capitalize on it at all. And I look at the quarterbacks like, yo, how in the world, if we have all these special players, got a Hall of Fame type running back, Hall of Fame type wide receiver, top 3 dual wide receivers with AJ and Smitty, and then a really solid tight end with Dallas, and we can't move the ball?
Yeah.
Come on, we got solid pockets. And I think about it, it's like, yo, our quarterback, like sometimes he's too safe. And I'm not blaming him, but when I watch the game, I can't only talk about it. Like last year, it was easy because the defense played well and we ran the ball over everybody. It was holes as big as Care Bear, his body. So it was big holes everywhere. But now when the holes are not there, we need to throw the ball. We can't. And I think about this. It was so much conversation about who's better, Jalen Hurts or Brock Purdy. It's an easy one for me, Jalen Hurts. But then when I think about it, I don't know now. Because, he might have threw some picks in the wild card game with the Eagles, right, on the road. But when they needed to make plays, he made them. And I think if Brock Purdy had our weapons, I think we win this game at least about 10 points.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest. And it's like, yo, we got to make some big decisions next year.
Interesting. Some interesting quotes, takes from Shady. And I've been a big advocate for Jalen Hurts. So for me, it's crazy because I just think that, and I said it last night, the two games that I thought he played immaculate happened to be both in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. Won one and lost one. Probably two of his better NFL games. I don't know why he didn't run the ball enough last night. Maybe it's the Kevin Patullo, but when, and I don't know who Shady sources are. Obviously, he's not going to out him. But that's wild, man.
Yeah, I mean, and it's the perfect parallel, I think, because both Hurts and Purdy have both had the same conversation around them for the majority of their careers. It's been when it's all on you, or when it's mostly on you, and you got to be the one to be the driving force of the team. Can you do it?
Yeah.
And both of them have had that question lingering. This year, Purdy proved, yes, I can. Even though, and like you said, right, like Purdy did have two bad picks. Like Purdy wasn't perfect. Purdy has not been perfect. He had some very bad games earlier in the season. It looks like now that was probably the result of injuries, because in the closing stretch, Purdy had a couple of masterclass games back to back. So he can do it. Have we ever seen, when the rest of the team has needed Hurts to drive it, when he has not had that good of a situation, have we ever seen Hurts step up and do it? When Saquon is playing badly, when the offensive line isn't playing great, when the defense isn't keeping the score low, have we ever seen Hurts put on a Superman cape before? Because we've seen Purdy do it now. We haven't seen Hurts do it still.
Man, it's just tough because I appreciate winners. He's a winner, but
so was Trent Dilfer. Like so was Joe Flacco. Like we can't do that. But I get it, right? Like obviously he's a quarterback you can win a Super Bowl with, clearly, yes. Obviously, historically. But the question isn't that, because that doesn't keep you on big contracts.
Yeah, because the question is can he win it?
Yes, right. If you can just plug and play someone else in, you don't necessarily need to pay that guy. And I don't know that he's proven that he is not replaceable.
Man, I just it's tough, man. Because look, even to Shady's point, if most people got Jalen Hurts' roster, there's a lot of things that are happening with that. There's a lot of scoring going on.
I mean, like we saw it like a few years prior with Wentz and Nick Foles on the same team with also a loaded roster. They won a Super Bowl there too. What happened to Wentz and Foles after that?
Yeah.
Is Jalen Hurts just Carson Wentz and Nick Foles? I think he's better than they are, to be clear.
Yes, but
how much better is he? Is the question.
Now here's where I will give Jalen Hurts some grace. He's had some instability at OC. So, I mean, they're going through OCs damn near every year at this point. So,
and which OCs have been the best for him? The ones that have him throw the least.
Yeah,
like they did last year.
Yeah, Kellen Moore was his better one. And like you said, it is a run first offense. So, AJ's behavior this year was happening last year too. So, it was
he had a 2,000-yard rusher next to him,
Exactly.
And to give Hurts his credit, right? Like he adds that he's dynamic himself as a very good runner, so you can.
I felt he ran a lot more last
with
year.
him. What's up?
I felt he ran a lot more last year.
He did run a lot more last year, and now they're trying to run a quote unquote normal offense with Patullo, and part of that might just be Patullo's schemes. Part of that might be just because Saquon hasn't shown that he can lead an offense like he did last year. This year, part of it might just be because AJ Brown's being a bitch and asking to get past the ball more. It might be a mix of all of those. It might be a chip on Hurts' shoulder because everyone's been talking about like, all right, great, you won a Super Bowl on a loaded team, like, but what can you do? And maybe it's a mix of all of those things. But like in reality, if you're the coach or the coordinator of a team and you have a formula that works, stop moving away from it.
Hey, coaches outsmart themselves all the time. Matter of fact, speaking of a moment that coaches outsmarting themselves, the finale on Sunday, Chargers Patriots. So it's early in the first quarter. There's like 5 minutes and like 16 seconds left in the first quarter, 0-0. And Chargers are deep in Patriots territory. I think they're on like the 2 or 3 yard line. And they go for it. And I'm like, take the points.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously they didn't do a lot of scoring that night, but at least what I'm saying is take the points. I just think in this new age of NFL, I get the aggressiveness. Let's go for it on fourth down, blah blah blah, and try to take momentum. And I'm a big momentum guy. I think momentum is real in football.
Yes,
but take the points because at the end, you can't win the game in the first quarter, but you can miss an opportunity to put points on the board that can affect what happens in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
So I'm like, take the points. And I think that really kind of started it off. So once they missed that opportunity and then, and credit to their defense, the Chargers defense, because Drake May, who's an MVP candidate, did not look MVP-ish in this game. He looked pretty average in this game. So I will give him that credit, but I'm like, damn, Harbaugh. And I'm not saying that he was the reason why they lost, but I'm like, damn, you definitely killed the momentum for your own team early in that game. Like,
yeah. So okay, so I've seen a lot of reactions to this, and I don't know if it's just because people like Drake May. I've seen a lot of people talk about this game like Drake May had a fantastic game. He didn't.
No, I thought he's pretty average.
Yeah, he had 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He fumbled the ball once, and he was lucky that a teammate bailed him out on it. He was sacked 5 times, and a lot of those were his fault. He led his team to 16 points. He did not play his only touchdown was basically when the game was completely out of balance anyway. Like otherwise it was just field goal after field goal. The defense won that game. If you're the Patriots, the game ball goes to Milton Williams. Like they were tearing his whack ass non-offensive line apart, and Herbert couldn't do anything. And so as a result of that, like 60 points was more than enough. They could have put up 6 points and still won the game.
Yeah.
So I just don't think that I think that the regular season award should be announced before the wild card games start. Because this whole kind of thing, like you have like the Dirk Nowitzki situation where like you get the award and then you just lost or you're like about to lose or whatever, and then people you have no idea how people's minds are being skewed by the playoff results when they're not supposed to be, right? But I don't think you can look at either Stafford or May's game and decisively say that this is like a clear shift in the balance. But Stafford played much better than May did. He just also had a tougher opponent, surprisingly, which I don't think anybody expected the Panthers to be tougher than the Chargers, but if you look at the offensive line of the Chargers, it does make sense. I think that you have to look at this and be like, if either of them pulled away, if we were counting playoff games at all, Stafford's the one that pulled away. But as far as Herbert, I mean, like, the narrative of him as a playoff choker still currently stands. I think that if you're looking at all three of his playoff losses, I think this one might be the least his fault. And it's kind of a shame because it's the one that will matter the most, just because it's now being compounded to the fact that he's lost two previously. And both of those were more his fault, especially last year.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, what do you think about that? Do you think that he deserves this to be held against him as his playoff choker label, or do you think it's unfairly circumstantial? What do you think?
I just think this game, it needs to be an outlier. It needs to be separated from the other performances that he's had, because you look at like you said, the defense he has at O-line. We know they're at second and third string at tackles, so it's not good. And trust me, I've had to deal with that in Kansas City a couple of times with Patrick. It don't matter how good you are. If you got tackle problems, it's bad.
Right.
It's bad for you. And he did his best job to be an Iron Man for the team, playing through injuries, playing hurt. He did the best that he could. And this was just indicative of the last few weeks, ever since Joe Alt went out. Because I think the offensive line would have been okay if at least still had Joe Alt. But the moment you lose Slater and Alt, two All Pros on both bookends, you're not just going to find anybody on your practice squad or on the streets to replicate that. Just point blank period.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that I think just were out of his control this year, and it is what it is. So I didn't hold this game against him, because even when we were talking off air, even when the times that the offensive line actually gave Herbert time, nobody was getting open. So, well, what is he supposed to do?
No, and to his credit, he has done a very good job in carrying that team throughout this regular season, despite all those problems still being there. And eventually there's just a breaking point. And I'm very consistent. I gave Patrick Mahomes, in both of the Super Bowls that he lost, I gave him a huge ton of flack because his offensive line weren't doing their jobs, and there just isn't much you can do when that's the case. No matter how good of a quarterback you are, like, if you're basically playing a different game at that point, if you have to throw the ball at like 0.05 seconds every single play, like, that's not sustainable.
No.
Not to say that he played well, and just like not to say that Herbert played well. Herbert didn't play well, but you do have that context is important.
Yes,
it's the same reason why I think that Caleb Williams didn't play well last year. When you have that bad of an offensive line, that consistently, that context does matter. So
sure.
I think the context in this case does matter. I think that had he not been as bad as he was last year, we wouldn't have to have this conversation now. I think people are preemptively looking to take away Herbert's credit, or to claim that all this is excuses. And I think people were making excuses for him last year. I don't think that he had a good excuse last year. I think this year he does. And we do have to separate the two and be like, he has choked. That does not necessarily make him a choker. This is not a good sample to use to determine that he is a choker, because he had to get the ball out in 0.05 seconds every play.
You can't put up a C- offensive line against a A- D line. It just won't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, Milton up front for New England was just eating all damn day, and they were if they weren't getting to Herbert, the secondary did their job and got cover sacks or got coverage pressures, and if they weren't getting ball out of Herbert's hands quickly, he was getting eat up by the pass by the blitz. So Rabel did his job of coaching one hell of a defensive game as well. So I mean, but it's crazy, man. That about midway through the third, I'm like, yeah, it's about nothing Herbert could do.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing Herbert could do. And then of course, the finale yesterday. You got Pittsburgh and Houston. Quick thoughts on that, big dog.
I think that I mean I don't even know what you say. Like it's just a really good defense beat up an old man for 4 quarters. Like that was more or less the game. And I do think that it is kind of ironic. We may have seen Aaron Rodgers' last game ever. And the guy who has made his legacy off of being the guy who doesn't throw interceptions, his last throw ever in the NFL might be a pick six.
Pick six.
And that's rough. That's very rough. And also, another thing, I get how far down they were. And if it had been in the regular season, I would have said, like, okay, if the lead is like this crazy this late, then you should rest your quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers stepping out of the game with like almost 3 minutes left, where he was 2 scores down, just waving the white flag off tops. That's not a good look to me. Like with the playoffs on the line, you're not even willing to fight.
I get what you're saying, Randy, but it wouldn't have mattered what a damn thing Aaron in that offense could have done. Arthur Smith would had no game plan that would have defeated that Houston Texans defense.
Probably not, but what do you gain from getting out of there? It's not like there's no game after this. This is it.
Oh no, I hear you. Your points are 100% valid. I'm just saying, however scenario that they whatever could have cooked up, the result would have still stayed the same. It was going to be a BTA moment regardless.
Oh, I agree. Sure. But like it kind of goes to because in the Browns game, the one that cost them the securing their playoff spot early, where they had to then go back and fight for it.
Yeah.
The reason why it seemingly they lost was because their entire scheme was geared towards stopping Aaron Rodgers from getting sacked by Myles Garrett, and Myles Garrett breaking the record on him.
Oh, Aaron was not going to be the one to get that record. He was going to do everything in his power to not.
Yeah, his O lineman even said so. So when you're in that, it seems like Aaron Rodgers has focused much more on his ego and his legacy than doing what was best for the Steelers. And it's very just indicative of him. And it's why it's hard to cheer for him at this point. Like, it's like, I get it. I wouldn't want to be the one that's on the highlight reel for Myles Garrett's last sack to break the record either. But your job is to win games. And if the fact that the Steelers coaching staff essentially allowed him to make that decision and then allowed him to step out of the game in a playoff game when you have almost 3 minutes left. Like, we had said that he walked all over the Jets for the last 2 years, and that this Mike Tomlin team, and we're going to talk about Mike Tomlin, this Mike Tomlin coaching staff wasn't going to put up with any bullshit. It looks like they've put up with some bullshit from him. The fact that they They could have secured a playoff spot, and they didn't to protect Rodgers' ego. And now they're just letting him step out with almost 3 minutes left because he's done. Like, that's crazy to me.
I'm gonna put a pin in that one because I think what I'm about to say is actually going to lead to the actual whole conversation we need to have about Mike Tomlin. So I'm gonna put a pin in that because I think what you just said right there, it leads directly into my thoughts and feelings on that. But I'm actually look at this game and I said last night, I'm looking at the Texas in this. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about their defense. That's low hanging fruit. We know they're awesome. They're elite. Boom. All right. CJ Stroud, my man, my guy. You talking about Trent Dilfer? He needs to call Trent Dilfer. All right. Hey, how do you when you have an elite defense like you did in 2000, Trent? How do you just become an elite game manager? Because I need to do that. Because he needs to adopt that. And his coaching staff needs to adopt calling plays that helps him be an elite game manager. Because I'm not sure, bro, about CJ Stroud.
I get it. The offensive line is still really bad.
Oh yes.
I'm not sure how much of it is him versus how much of it is his situation, but objectively he did not play well, and he got bailed out hard by his defense. So I mean, the question is, can that keep happening 3 more times?
That defense is elite because they're scoring. They scored twice last night.
Yeah.
They're willing to do it. They're like, all right, well, if you motherfuckers don't give us the 2 touchdowns that we need, we'll just go get them ourselves. And they're capable of doing that.
Yep. Yeah.
But all right, so it's time to have that conversation. The news dropped early today, mid-afternoon. He resigned, Mike Tomlin. And it's funny because literally 24 hours ago, I told Steelers fans to say he's not going nowhere. He literally has to quit and walk away because they don't fire coaches in Pittsburgh. They got 3 coaches in their history since 1969. All right, Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. That is it. They don't fire coaches. And they didn't fire him. He walked away. Exactly how I said it. I didn't think it would be 24 hours later. But just kind of give me your thoughts because 19 years of not a losing record. I think it's impressive.
I think so too. I think it's especially impressive when you look at who he's had as quarterback since Big Ben, and even in Big Ben, the later period of Big Ben. He has not had good quarterback play, and part of that is his own fault because the fact that his team has always gone 9-8 has meant that the top quarterbacks were always out of reach for him in the draft, and he always had to figure it out, put a Band-Aid on it, kick the can down the road with a quarterback, either take them where they can get them in the draft, like with Kenny Pickett, or just get a bunch of vets. And that's, I mean, what they did this year, and they're in the same position. Rodgers played better than he's had recently, but not by enough to win anything. And I think that Mike Tomlin is undeservedly blamed for the fact that he hasn't won more, given the talent that he's had. Because if they were smart, they would either have tanked. If Tomlin was willing to give up that record, tank a season to get a real quarterback, and then go from there, or trade back in the draft, or trade a player for a first-round pick so you could trade up for a quarterback, something, right? Like, strategically work yourself in a situation where you can get to a top quarterback.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to do that, you're going to stay in this position forever. The fact that he hasn't won more isn't necessarily indicative of a problem with him. It's just a problem with the fact that the organization never went through a rebuild. They've refused one. And is that him? Is that the organization? It's a mix of both. But I do not think that he is a bad coach. I don't think that he's a coach that can't win it all. He has, in fact, won a Super Bowl, even though it was a long time ago. But it was with good quarterback play. I think that I think it's kind of interesting the fact that he had basically the most secure job in the entire NFL and he willingly gave it up. He didn't have to. He could have just done this until he died, but I guess he does want to see if he can win it all somewhere else. And he has to look for teams with openings. I think he needs to look for a team with an opening who has a quarterback that he believes in, because that's the only way that he can shake the narrative that he can't win it. And there are two teams who I think clearly have their quarterback. Maybe three, but obviously the Ravens are the first one. So, and the irony, if you were to go to a division rival, which has been happening a lot in the past couple of years, players and coaches going to their division rivals, he certainly could do that. And if he went to the Ravens, I think that he could win a Super Bowl with them, probably rather easily.
That's crazy.
And the other one is my Giants. And I would love to have Mike Tomlin on my team with my Giants, with Jackson Dart, who's proven he is that guy as a quarterback, with pieces and weapons around him, a team that I think has been held back significantly by coaching and scheming. I like the thought of Mike Tomlin and some Big Blue. I don't know, like I'm kind of feeling that.
I don't know where he goes. I do think that he would probably have the pick of his choice. Same with John Harbaugh. I think they both get the pick of their choice.
Also like the thought of him and some Big Blue.
My thing is with Mike Tomlin, even though I've had my jokes about calling him mediocre Mike, because I know he's not going to be under 500, and I know he's going to sneak into a playoff and be out the first round, and that's been the MO. But if you really look, like you said, if you really step back and look at the bigger picture of his coaching career, that man's he's taking some teams to the playoffs that had no business being there. Period. All right, they had no business being there, but there they are in the playoffs, and you're not winning them. But I still think that commending a coaching job of getting teams to playoffs that weren't supposed to be there, especially on paper, you got to give that man his credit, because he's turning crap into playoff appearances. He was never given the ideal rosters, like you said, the back end of that deteriorating Ben Roethlisberger. He wasn't given the best rosters as Ben Roethlisberger's. Even this year, the MO of Pittsburgh is great defense. The defense was atrocious this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he's never been dealt the perfect hand for the last 8-9 years. And yet he's been in playoffs 19 straight years, his whole coaching career, never a losing record. Huh?
Yeah, no, exactly. He's a floor raiser. And the question is if he can finish the job. And I think that him finishing the job is just dependent on him having the right team. Now, to move this conversation over to John Harbaugh, who's another head coach I would still be very happy to have. However, his situation is different because he has had that quarterback. He has had that roster.
Yeah.
I think you could argue that Harbaugh has been more responsible individually for his team's lack of success than Tomlin has for his. Tomlin has been a floor raiser for not great situations. Harbaugh has had a great situation for years.
So to push that conversation a little bit further, I think it's in when teams lose these one possession games a lot. I think it's a microcosm of how the team reacts to the coach. because that's at that point that's coaching that you're losing all these one possession games. And I get it. I know what people are going to say. Oh, players still got to make the plays. Yes, players still got to make the plays. But if you're always in that live and die moment after 60 minutes for majority of every season, and you're not on the winning side of that, it starts at almost looking like a reflection of you. Because I was reminded earlier today, like they were really trying to get rid of Harbaugh a minute ago, and Lamar Jackson pretty much saved his job. Because after that winning that Super Bowl in 2013, the Ravens, they weren't always headed up. They started kind of going. Flacco started decreasing because they ended up paying him.
Yep.
So there was a point they was about to get rid of him, and then he made the switch to Lamar.
Right. And no, it's I think it's always important when you're talking about either players or coaches, not just to look at the result, but to look at the process. Like, why are they losing? And I mean, like, there have been a lot of situations, including in the playoffs, where like Harbaugh individually has made questionable play calling decisions. Like,
Fair.
Deciding to stop running the ball in a lot of their playoff losses, where the running was working, and then all of a sudden he just stopped using it. If you remember back at week 1, putting the ball back in Josh Allen's hands was a huge thing that he was criticized for. I don't often hear people pointing at a decision Tomlin made and being like, that is the reason you lost, because you did that. So Harbaugh gets that pretty often.
Yeah,
I don't think he's a bad coach. Again, I would like him on the Giants.
No, he's not a bad head coach.
But I think that he does make questionable decisions, and I think that he has had enough talent where, and this was the reason why I predicted he was going to be fired.
You did.
Remember when we
call that when we had that fight, and I always kind of agree with what you're saying, but I didn't know if it would happen because it's like
maybe not even this year, but I thought it was going to be this year.
And to further to push, to back up what you're saying, I just think what it is with Harbaugh and like you said, making bad decisions. He's made bad decisions on OCs the last few years. Todd Monken didn't work out. All right, it never did. Greg Roman, trash. As you saw, he just got fired from another job today. So, that's another factor that was going against Justin Herbert.
Right, yeah.
Greg Roman as your OC. So, yeah, man, he never really found the right OC for Lamar, and somehow he still got 2 MVPs. So let that sink in.
Right. So if you have a 2-time MVP caliber quarterback, a top maybe 25-30 quarterback in NFL history, insane dynamic threat. You add Derrick Henry to the mix. You have what should be an elite defense on paper, what was the year previously, and with all of that, you don't even make the playoffs. Like, yeah, like it's hard to say, like, well, like, what did I have to work with? You had everything to work with. You were the favorite to win the Super Bowl going into this season because of all the talent you had. So I think the Ravens were right to cut him. I don't know who's the next coach. I think if every coach is going to want the Ravens as their pick, they're the most ready roster to work with. Nobody's not taking that situation. I think it's the teams after that where it starts to become more debatable.
I will say this. Between Pittsburgh and Baltimore, and probably more Pittsburgh, I think lands this guy. I think one of those two franchises should give Brian Flores a shot. And I think it's going to be more Pittsburgh because if you remember, after he left Miami, he did get a job under Mike Tomlin as a linebackers coach, I believe.
Mhm.
So he'll be familiar with the ins and outs of the franchise. So don't be surprised if you see his name go to Pittsburgh. But if I was Baltimore, I would send a jet to his house
Mhm.
and say, "Come on down to Maryland, just have a conversation with us
Yes.
before you go to Pittsburgh." That's all. Because imagine Brian Flores on that team, because I think he would find the right OC. And
This
I
this is a
also
good. This is a,
discipline too.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, my fault. Now go ahead.
I was gonna say this is a really good offseason for a team to need a coach because there are so many really good coaches that are possible right now. I mean,
Mm,
you got Harbaugh, you got Tomlin, Stefanski, you got you got Dayball if you want him. You got
yeah.
and then there's like the ones who aren't the experienced head coaches. You got Kubiak, you got Shula, you know,
Hey,
like you said.
don't be surprised if Robert Salah gets his name in there.
Yeah, sure, for sure.
Don't be surprised if he gets his name in there. If I actually see him in Baltimore if they're not able to take a swing at Brian Flores.
Yeah.
Because I can see Robert Salah in Baltimore. That makes sense.
You got Halfley also potentially.
Yeah, I think Halfley probably gets a shot. But yeah, man, I just think that's it's been it's going to be a crazy coaching carousel because there's a lot of jobs that are open
Yeah.
right now. But I think for me, if I'm a coach and if I know an organization is going to give me time, I would love that Pittsburgh job because they're going to give me time.
That's true. Yes, it's the most secure job of
Mm.
any job. There's no job in the world has better job security than a Steelers head coach.
Like, I know you're going to give me time. And so your patience is very, very long. So I get the chance to at least let's say minimum 5 years for sure.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's just their reputation. They don't fire. So I if I was a coach, I'd be like, if you're gonna give me 4 or 5 years to let my plan go all the way through, yeah, that's the job I want. Like you said, a roster rise, yeah, Baltimore looks very tempting. If you're an offensive coach, maybe Tennessee, work with Cam Ward, young quarterback.
Yeah, that's another one that when I was trying, like, does this team have their quarterback already? Titans were the ones that are kind of in that, like, I don't know situation because I think that Ward is probably a good quarterback, but this was not a year to look at him and make any kind of judgment.
Yeah.
He had nothing helping him.
I will say the big blue job is attractive. It is.
Mm-hmm.
But and my but is I my man Jackson, and it's not about his talent. It's about, are you going to be able to be around for my tenure? We got to do something about you learning how to not take the unnecessary hits because I can't have you in and out of the blue tent, bro, getting evaluated for a concussion, man.
So I agree. I agree that Dart needs to stop doing that. I trust me, I agree. However, I do also think that the idea that Dart is like uniquely an injury risk is in big part of media fabrication. He's only had one concussion this year.
That's
A lot of quarterbacks have had a concussion this year and nobody's looking at them crazy like that. So I'm considering how young he is, how durable he seems to be so far, the fact that he takes hits and gets back up pretty frequently. I wouldn't look at that as the reason to not take the job. how many? Bo Nix had a concussion this year, I believe. I'm trying to think of other quarterbacks that had a concussion this year, but there were a handful, ones that are older than Dart. So I think you can take the job feeling decently confident that I'm gonna still have my guy ultimately. Even when he had the concussion, he was only gone for like half a game, and he came right back in the next one. He was fine. So, and not to give it undeserved attention, but the Colin Cowherd, the Giants should trade Dart and pick up Fernando Mendoza thing. Like, the media likes to do that kind of stuff. I thought that was a horrible take then. I'm glad we're not talking about it anymore. I'm not worried that Dart's not going to be there specifically, but he does need to stop doing that. I'm never going to disagree with that. And he has gotten a little bit better as the season has gone on.
Man, it's funny that you brought up Mendoza's name, because before we preview the divisional round, I just wanted to get your take, because obviously they had two matchups: Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore, Indiana, Oregon. They had a regular season game in Oregon. Indiana came in, got the dub, and then you saw with the dismantling of Oregon last week in that college football playoff game that Indiana put on straight BTA, boot to asses from the jump. But which one would you start, or which one would you draft if you were to start, or say if you didn't have Jackson Dart, Mendoza, or Dante Moore? Because obviously I think they're 1 and 2 in QB's this draft. So
I think that Mendoza has had the better season of the two so far. I like Moore's dynamic style in this modern NFL a little bit better, but I think that Mendoza has shown more. And first of all, I think he will go first. I think Raiders are taking Mendoza, the Jets are taking Dante Moore, and then the real draft happens starting at 3.
Yep.
But if I had to pick, I do like them both a lot. I'd be happy with either of them, but Mendoza has been damn near incredible from beginning to end. He's absolutely he's absolutely changed, and it made a whole new thing out of that Indiana squad. He's elevated the whole team around him. Like, I think it's got to be Mendoza, but I don't think the gap is far between the two of them.
No. I like any other good draft comparisons, or I guess when you got two quarterbacks that can going to go 1 and 2, you're always gonna tit for tat, and at that point, I think you're splitting hairs on what you really like, or which one fits your scheme better. But
plus, once you win the Heisman, you've kind of cinched your spot.
Yeah. I'm with you right there, and I think that's why Mendoza goes to the Raiders. I was pleasantly surprised. Maybe I didn't.
I'm sorry, because my dumb asshole Giants decided to win those last 2 games. Sorry, go ahead with your thought. I just had to get that out.
Crazy. No, I forgot all about that. I'm like, why did y'all? Y'all literally just gave the Raiders the first overall pick.
Yes, and then we could have gotten the first overall pick back. And since the Raiders lost to the Chiefs, we could have at least gotten the second overall pick. We decided to not have that too. It's crazy. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
I'm just full of rage. Go ahead.
No. This is what sometimes the purpose of a podcast is to vent. But No, Raiders are definitely going with Mendoza. I was pleasantly surprised to see how athletic he was when he was doing some of those read options and things like that. Um, and I'm not. I guess the comp date when I saw it, I'm like, man, he kind of looks like Trevor Lawrence at Clemson a little bit, where he was able to be mobile, but more times than not, he made the right throw, and that's why he got a lot of high praise coming out the draft and was first overall pick. So, so it's not a bad comp. It's not a bad gig neither. I know Trevor Lawrence's NFL career still isn't complete and still is, still getting graded year by year, deservedly so. But Fernando, yeah, he's definitely going to LA. I think they're done playing around with, with everything. As you see, they went one and done with Pete Carroll and said, "All right, we're moving on." They,
Talk about I think most people, me included, looked at that situation and thought, I don't think this is going to be a great team. They should be like a solid team. Like this could be like a 7 to 9-ish win team with Gino, with Genti, with Carroll. That's not what happened at all. That's crazy, and they realized it immediately. And because they're a smart franchise, they tanked and they decided let's make the team better long term instead of having a meaningless win or two at the end.
No, that's crazy.
And also, since we're talking about the Raiders and their tanking, what do you think is going to go on with Crosby now? Because Crosby was pissed.
Yeah, he was pissed, but I mean, he's on the contract.
He doesn't understand team building.
Yeah, but I mean, he's on the contract. He signed that extension. He can get mad all he want, but he'll be right there in training camp. Ready.
I'm sure.
Yeah, so
I don't think they're going to trade him over this.
No, they're not trading him, but also, for the Jets, his upside for Dante Moore, because I think of the two, I think he might be a little bit more athletically gifted than Mendoza.
Mm-hmm.
But does he have the reps? I mean, this was his only year as a starter.
That's another reason why, Mendoza has more of a track record. Not even necessarily a lot more of a track record, right? Like he has more experience than Moore does, but Mendoza was not expected to be a first round pick.
It's a possibility
until this year.
And yeah, I mean, but I know he started this year and last year pretty much under Cignetti since he's been at Indiana. So, but he was if I'm correct, he transferred because he was a starter at Cal. If I'm correct,
I think that's right.
But
he wasn't with Indiana last year.
Okay, so he has the has the reps that you kind of look for. So when I see a guy that has athletic gifts, but lacks the reps, that kind of has project written all over him. And
I don't think either of these franchises can take a big swing risk choosing the project over the more proven commodity either. Yeah, they need someone who can take a team and be plug and play because they're not good franchises right now.
And that's the main point that I'm really getting at, because the Jets' track record with drafted quarterbacks ain't too pretty, man. So it ain't too pretty. No, interesting conversation. So I love that. Hey, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. Jump in that comment section and let us know what y'all think about that. And yes, Texans for the Super Bowl, it is a possibility. It is a possibility. The way that their defense is playing. Let's close out the show with speaking of playoff games. It kicks off divisional round Saturday. Bills Broncos. How are you feeling about this matchup, man?
So it's another really good defense that could give Josh Allen problems,
Mhm.
but I do trust. I mean, the Bills like dog walked the Broncos in the playoffs last year,
You did.
and the Broncos did have a great defense even last year. It wasn't their defense improved since then, but their defense was a really good defense last year. The teams didn't look that different from the way the teams look now. I trust Josh Allen more than I trust Bo Nix right now.
Fair.
So, and obviously it's not just the quarterback, but I do think that that will be a big deciding factor here. Of course, I think the Bills take the Broncos down.
Mm.
That's my pick. I don't think the Broncos are unless the pass defense takes a ton of picks from Allen. I think that would be the way that if the Broncos win, it'll be because they picked him off like 2-3 times at least. But I'm gonna take the Bills. What about you?
I've been kind of going back and forth with it because I do to that point of what you said earlier. I've seen Josh struggle against elite defenses, and we saw how the Texans made them look when they played in the regular season. And Denver's not too far off from that Texans defense. But like you said, I trust Josh Allen a shit ton more than I would ever trust Bo Nix. The inconsistency, the sporadic play, sometimes followed by heroic play, but then he follows it up with bonehead play, and then he digs himself a little bit deeper, and then he'll make a play or two. And it's so up and down roller coaster. With if I was a Broncos fan, I'd be like, man, I don't know about this bro Knicks guy, but then he makes a great play, and you be like, damn, man, I like that kid. And then he does it on a bonehead. I don't know what I'm getting. So yes, give me Josh Allen in the Bills in this one for sure. Better quarterback play. Point blank period. And I know it's in Denver. It's going to be hostile, but it is what it is, man.
It's also not like the Bills have a bad defense either. They have the highest ranked pass defense in the NFL. So that defense could give Bo Nix problems pretty easily.
Bills defense is old and slow. But the good thing about them being old is it's a lot of veteran presence and a lot of football. And a lot of those guys that's been on this roster that's kind of been on this whole run for Buffalo being a consistent playoff team. So there's some wisdom that comes with that. But yeah, old and slow. That's how I always describe the Bills defense. Hey, this is for all my wrestling fans. This is going to be a good old JR NFC West slobber knocker right here. 49ers Seahawks. 49ers are banged up as shit, but you can never tell because they keep winning and they keep knocking the shit out of people in physical football. But I think I'm gonna roll with the Seahawks because end of the day, make it easy for Sam Darnold. Charbonnet, that duo with him and Kenneth Walker been looking solid down the stretch of the NFL regular season. Lean on it. Take the pressure off Sam Darnold. I think it's quite simple.
So I'm gonna say Seahawks also. I mean, it's the same thing with the 49ers every time. Like,
yeah,
they keep winning, and I keep not believing they're gonna win, and maybe they'll win again this time. But like, eventually, it's just not sustainable anymore.
exactly.
And I And I don't think they have the defense that's going to give Darnold those kinds of problems. I think when we've seen Darnold have his fits, it's because he's been getting a ton of pressure. He doesn't respond well to pressure, and I don't think this is the defense that's going to
No, they
give
don't.
him the pressure necessary to make him see ghosts. So
Yeah.
I think he'll be okay in this game. So yeah, I'm gonna say the Seahawks also, and the Seahawks defense has been monstrous, and they're gonna give Brock Purdy fits.
Yep, I'm with you on that. And then my man said, "Go Buffalo Bills." I was about to say something, but I'm not gonna upset Bills Mafia.
You don't want the hate watch clicks.
No, it's because they gonna look at my Chiefs stuff and like, oh, of course you are. You're such a hater. All I'm saying is like, bro, if not this year, when? So I'm just saying, man, watch these games that they playing and see how these refs be. I'm kidding, y'all. I'm kidding. Texas, this matchup is very interesting. Texas Patriots. I'm not expecting any offense at all in this game. Expect a 10-7, 13-10 type of score. You might get a touchdown apiece, but after that, it's going to be special teams. Which one shows up, because they're going to need you to knock some field goals through. But I'm going to give this slight edge to the Texans because they can score. So I'm going to rock with the Texans, man.
So after seeing, this is the only one where I'm switching from my postseason predictions from a couple of weeks ago. I think it's Texans. I think the Texans are going to win. After seeing Drake May struggle so much against the Chargers defense and him basically just benefit from them not being able to capitalize on it, I think that defense is going to beat the shit out of Drake May. The question with Drake May has always been, yeah, he's looked really good, but it's been against cupcake defenses. What can he look like against the real defense? And 2 days ago, the answer was not very good, but luckily they don't have an offense either. Now, this team is a similar situation. The Patriots defense could very easily pick apart the Texans O-line and keep CJ Stroud out of it long enough. And that's true, but the Texans defense, like you said, will get the points themselves if that happens. So I'm going to say Texans. I think that Drake May turns back into a pumpkin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know Drake May, he's going to get some MVP votes, but we see what this Texas defense do to people, man. Like, come on, man. Whether you old, young, mobile, immobile, it don't matter. If you playing quarterback and you on the opposite side of them, man, they coming to get you, dog. All right, point blank period.
Yeah,
that's just what it is. And then finale, a divisional round, Rams Bears Sunday night. Man, I can't wait for this matchup, man. See the contrasting quarterbacking styles of Stafford and Caleb Williams. One that's at the beginning of his career, the other one is at the end of his career. Man, I love this matchup. But I'm gonna stick with the Rams on this one. I just think Stafford he's going on a, I don't want to say his last season, but I think he really wants to get another one. And I think they got a good chance to get the Super Bowl this year. So I'm gonna rock with the Rams with this one in a close game, in a very close game, one possession game for sure.
I agree. I think it is a close game. I am also taking the Rams, and it looks like we picked the same one for every game. But I think it's gonna be the Rams also. I think that the Bears are going to come back and keep it close. But I do think that the Rams are, unlike the Packers, are going to be able to keep from letting them complete the choke job.
Yeah. I don't think Matthew's ready for no choke job, man. You don't want that on his resume.
Yeah, I think it's going to look similar to the way the Rams-Panthers looked.
Yes. I had the same sentiment. It was going to look something oddly that same situation where obviously the Chicago crowd going to be ruckus. Give them something to talk about, but we're gonna steal your hearts. Yeah. So, hey man, this was dope, man. Y'all know what it is, man. You need some audio needs. Go to my man Randy Weber on Instagram, IG Panther on Acid. You did. All right. Y'all know where to find me. Going on to my Twitter page, right under my name, KC Wildcard Mar. On Twitter, all right. I.O.W Sports Network. You know what it is, man. All social media platforms. Hit that YouTube channel, like, share, subscribe. Hey, man, we appreciate y'all, man. All right. So on behalf of the homie Randy Weber, I'm the Wild Card Mar. We up out of here, man. Hey, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I'll let y'all. Peace.
Yeah. Solid Hill TDS, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card Mar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo, let's go. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card Mar.